Hey everyone. Today we're going to make an On Ping Comm Loss parameter. First of all, what you want to find is a tag that can be polled consistently. Doesn't mean that the tag value actually has to change all the time, just that the time that represents that value will be constantly changing. So this oil and gas demo parameter that I pulled up, you can see is changing all the time. That means it's going to be a good target to make an On Ping Comm Loss parameter. Now we're going to make this parameter from scratch. I'm going to type out the script for you. However, when you're really using these, we have a pre-existing script, but I'll make it just so you can understand it bit by bit. So now that we have our parameter that polls consistently, we need to decide how long it would be acceptable for that site to be down before we had a problem. That might be like level of the tank or have something to do with the process, but you need to decide what is an acceptable level of slack you can put in a comm loss. Let's see. So it looks like in this volume, it looks like it takes it quite a while to get above 250. So it's a pretty slow moving parameter. It means it's probably safe to make it a 1 hour comm loss. And I would probably like to have that setting be adjustable in case I decide that 1 hour is too short or too long. So we'll go ahead and add it as a parameter in OnPing itself. Click back on OnPing and go to our manual entry. I've already made a single well manual, which there's a different video on, but I'm going to click edit on this single well manual, and I'm going to add a new parameter. I'm going to call this On Ping Comm Loss time, and I'll give it a value of 60 for the number of minutes that we're going to be down. Let me give myself a unit here, minutes. That looks great. So now it's time to start making my parameter. I am going to go to my virtual parameter screen and then create a new script. So I'll give the script a name called video on ping comm loss, a demo of an on ping comm loss script being created. And then I'm going to put this in my video group here. I'll make it private so it doesn't clutter everybody else's stuff up. And I will bring in the parameters we just added. Click add a parameter, add a parameter. So I've added 2 parameters. The first parameter I'm going to bring in is the value. And let's see, that's another oil and gas demo. Yeah, today's volume, there we go. That's what we've been looking at. And then the other one is going to be comm loss time, like that. Let me grab this value from our SCADA data here. Comm loss time, there's what I just made. So I'll click on that. And so now it's time to make a script. You might have noticed that I just made that comm loss time, which means it's only going to exist at a certain starting point. So data streams always have beginnings and they have reasons to have discontinuity. They're sort of hard to predict. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that the script compiles. So let me hit 1.0 here and then just hit test. Make sure I get a 1.0 out, and I do. Okay, yep, that looks great. So now I want to get my variables into scope. So remember, these are the stream names. So this stream is called value, and this stream is called comm loss time. So let comm loss time equal. And then I want to match the latest value of the comm loss time with some time. And then I want to give it a nice default. I'm going to make the default 60 minutes. And let's see, I'm going to want these to be integers. So I'll go ahead and round this. Return comm loss time, just to make sure everything's still going good. Yep, and I get 60. I would get 60 either way, but just to show you that that's coming from the top case and not the bottom case. So let me change that back. Now that I have my comm loss time, let's go ahead and add the value under test. For this one, we're going to grab a sample one of those values every resolution number of seconds and save that into an array. So I'm going to grab value at value t. So I'm grabbing a value at this value. I guess I'll call this value stream so it's less confusing. Value stream, value at value stream at time t. and we're going to get an interval every time minutes, and I'll grab it every minute, and we'll go from now, that's what this means, to time minutes comm loss time. And we want to start now, or we want to end now, I'm sorry. So what this is saying is grab a value from the stream at every time t in the range of the comm loss time ago to now, and check every minute. So what is this doing? This is trying to make sure that at some point along this line, a value exists. If no values exist, this will be an array that's just a whole bunch of none. So it'll just say none, 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 none over and over again. So what we want to do now is check that. So let me change it to values under test, or actually we'll call these optional values under test because they have the sum and the none, and then these will be values under test because they don't have the sum and the none. So this is just going to be array dot keep sums optional values under test. And then finally, real fast, let me do array dot sum values under test, and go ahead and hit test. So right now it's just summing them all up. We actually don't want to sum it up. What we want is to know that this array had a value in it. And we can do that by doing array dot length values under test, and give that a name, number of found values, because the number of found values will be equal to the length of the array. And then if the number of found values is less than 1, then we want to return that we're in comm fail. Otherwise, we want to return that we're not in comm fail. So 1 is for comm fail and 0 is for not in comm fail. So hitting test here, and unsurprisingly, because of the value we chose, we are not seeing any problem. So let's pick a different parameter, one that isn't polling all the time, and let's see if it makes it go to 1. I'll pick this pressure threshold, which hasn't polled since December of last year. So now this is the pressure threshold, and now let me hit test, and see it comes up as a 1. So our script is working as we expected. So normally I'd hit save and assign here, and that would make the virtual parameter. So let me go ahead and do that. So click save and assign. And now I need to name the virtual parameter here. So I'll give it a name like location comm status. And then go here and in the description type OnPing comm check 1 equals bad comms, just because I like to be specific. Let me run one more test here, make sure everything comes in good. Yep, we're all good. Hit save. Okay, great. Now that I've made this On Ping Comm Loss virtual parameter, I can assign it to an alarm. So to do that, I go to alarms and I click add alarm. I'll give it a name like On Ping Comm Loss at demo site. When it's a virtual parameter alarm, you want to give it a full name, including the location, because it turns off the custom name feature and you have to give it everything you want it to say. The trip time, how long it will have to be in a trip condition in order to call you. The recall time will say how long it will wait after you've acknowledged the alarm to call you back. And the clear time is how long the alarm has to be in a clear state before it'll call and say clear, or reset the alarm if you have clears turned off. I'm going to set it to permissions to demo users, edit, and then change the call order. This determines who it's going to call. And then I will add this mask, which doesn't actually matter because I'm making a virtual parameter alarm. But if I were making a regular alarm, it'd be how you'd pick, say, a bit or apply like a quick mask to it. So I usually pick identity when I'm making virtual parameter alarms. And now I find the virtual parameter we made by clicking on this target input button. going to my oil and gas demo and clicking on SCADA data, because remember we switched it to use this pressure threshold, so we'd have a red condition here. Current parameters. Okay, so now when I hit save, this alarm is made. And here it is, and you can see it's tripped currently, right? Now I have it off, so it won't actually call anyone. But that's really all there is to making an On Ping Comm Loss alarm. You can see how powerful this is because it's based completely on a script. You can adjust it to be however you want it to be. I guess the last thing before I go is to show how we actually do this in production settings. We just go to our virtual parameters settings here, and we pick from a list of scripts. And one of those scripts is the one location comm status. And you can see it's almost exactly the same script that we just wrote together. And then this is what I would then assign to a particular value. So instead of making the script from scratch, I would just click assign to virtual parameter. And then from here, it all looks the same. I give it a OnPing Comm Loss time parameter and a value stream parameter. In this case, that value stream is called one location. All right, thank you so much.